Developing database-driven websites can be at least frustrating. There are a lot of platforms like the free MySQL and PostgreSQL and Oracle, Sybase and Microsoft SQL platform. MySQL and PostgreSQL is good enough for most database-driven web pages. I use PHP and MySQL or PostgreSQL. There are various versions of the database connection layers. You can make your own. You can use peer, a library, and you can use MySQL, MySQL-I, and the database abstraction layer, PDO. That is good enough for me. But if you buy a book on database development, it's very often difficult. You don't know which version of the database driver they use, and sometimes you have to install your own test server to see how it functions. But you will see the page or site live on the web, and you can restrict access in HT access, the Apache text file, to control the web server. You restrict access with a few commands in the HT access file. To me, the PDO database abstraction layer is good enough, but it has restrictions. No, you cannot. It doesn't have all the methods it should have had. But as I said, it is good enough for me. When you develop database applications, the most important thing to remember is portability, and forward compatibility. Think of that. Portability and forward compatibility. And make one database connection class or a file in one folder. You can make constants to the connection so you use in your PDO object. There are some database platforms. They are different. MySQL, MySQL-E, and PDO. Pair, as I told, and your own. Somebody has written their own classes. So make it simple. Use PDO if you use PHP as your development language. And test it online. A good hoster let you test different versions of PHP. It has a default one, and by going into the cPanel and clicking a radio button, you can choose another version for your site. It's also possible to restrict the version in HT access for that folder. So you can specify which version of a PHP you want in a HT access file in that folder. Even if you have another version, the stable version or default version in your production environment. But you can choose different versions if you test pages. PHP 6 is out. Look at the video to the left of this video. There's more explanation about that. If you want to buy a good book on for the beginner that is good on database development, I recommend PHP for the absolute beginner. It explains how you develop your own blog, and it has a good chapter on HT access file, as I talked about, and about writing friendly URLs. That is important for search engine optimization. So I recommend that book. Start with that book, PHP for Absolute Beginners, and go forward to Professional PHP 6. That is explained in the video to the left of this video. Thank you for listening. Kjell Bleivik from oopschool.com. I repeat, oopschool.com.